Hi everyone, Rich from Tiger Fitness, and today I'm going to be taking you through a 15-minute core workout. All you're going to need is a mat. It's all floor based on your back apart from the last movement, which is going to be a plank. Let's do this. Your first movement is going to be that basic crunch. Fingers on the temples, looking up towards the ceiling, legs in a V. Just going to lift the shoulders and the back up, crunch the core at a 45-degree angle, and control the movement back down again. Make sure that you reset the shoulders onto the floor before you start again. Movement number 2 are leg raises. Get those hands in position. Some people find this to be more comfortable underneath the top of the bum, the lower of the back. If you haven't got any issues with your back, you can bring those hands out to the side. Keep the legs straight, just going to pull the legs up to a 90-degree angle, and once the heels are in line with those hips, you're going to pulse the heels up towards the ceiling. If you want the extra, raise the chest off the floor to engage your core. After the leg raises, bring those heels down, legs into a V, and we're coming up for your full sit-up. Fingers on the temples, the chin's engaged, we're looking up towards the ceiling, keeping that core strong. If you want the extra with this movement, as you come up, you can go into a rotationary movement. So you can bring the opposite elbow to the opposite knee, squeeze at the top, and still control it back down. The next movement is one of my personal favourites, leg flutters. Legs out as far as you can, try not to bend the knee, push the heels out, and just walk those legs in midair. Like all of these movements, if you bring the shoulders and the chest up, you'll encourage your core to tense and engage, which means you're going to get a better burn. Also, if you bring your legs up higher, you'll encourage the lower core to work. As we transition into reverse crunches, try not to drop the heels to the floor and keep the tension there in your midsection. All we're doing is we're going for a long straight leg, tucking the knees up as high as we can, a little bit of rotation there in the pelvis, and then kick the legs out nice and solid, reset before pulling it back in again. Single leg toe touches, arms out wide, legs together, and all we're doing is raising one leg up at a time and bringing both arms up. We're aiming for the toes, and then we're controlling it back down again. I understand at this point your core is probably firing, so just take it slow, take it easy, and raise the legs up to wherever you can. Breathe out with every movement up. This movement can be a bit of a killer, especially after everything has just happened. So you want to bring your legs up as high and as straight as you can, depending on your range of motion. As you can see, my flexibility isn't brilliant, but that is as far as my legs will go up. I extend the arms down behind the head, and I use the core to draw my body up, and I pulse my body up and my fingers towards the toes. A gentle squeeze at the top, and easily roll it back down. Leg scissors, again more lower core, keeping those legs as straight as possible, pushing out through the heels, and all we're doing is crossing those legs up and over. Pad the lower of the back, the top of the bum with those hands for comfort. If you want the extra, just raise the head up, engage the core by lifting the shoulders up a tiny bit. And your final movement in the set is your plank. You're looking for a straight line from the back of your shoulders to the back of your heels. Belly button tucked in and up, and we're going to control through the breathing. Now I've only programmed in a 30-second plank, so you get a 30 seconds rest between sets. Feel free to do 45 seconds to a minute and go back into your next movement, which will be those crunches. If you choose to take the rest at the 30-second mark, now's the time to rest. Use this time to get a drink, roll your shoulders out, loosen your core off, and get ready for sets 2 and 3 of this core programming. bum back down to the mat, fingers on those temples, and let's get ready for those crunches again. Round 2 for crunches, the core should be fully warmed up now, and we should be getting a better crunch, a better squeeze at the top, and a better controlled motion as we bring those shoulders down towards the floor to reset. Breathe out on the way up, squeeze, hold, and breathe in on the way back down. The legs should feel a little bit looser now we're in round 2. Try and hold those legs in the air as much as we can. Try not to drop those heels down. Keep the tension in that lower core. If you was almost there with the progression for the sit-ups in the last movement, try the progression now. As we sit up, spin, rotate round, elbows to the opposite knee, and control the movement back down. Set 2 for leg flutters. This is my favourite exercise, I've already said it, but this will start burning that core. If you need to slow the reps down, absolutely fine. Just make sure you do not drop those heels. Start tucking those knees up as high as we can in these reverse crunches in set 2. Really bring those hips off the floor, get that crunch, and then control the movement all the way down, lengthen through the legs, reset and restart. Let's try and hold this movement now in mid-air for a little bit longer as we try and reach towards that single toe. Up we come, crunch, hold the movement a split second longer, control the legs, the arms down. If you're finding that your core is getting shot at this time and it's too hard to keep your legs up, place the heels down so you've got your legs in a V. Carry on with the same arm movement, but just bring those palms so they go over the knees. Control that crunch and then control the body back down to the floor. If you're keeping up with me here, great. Try and keep the legs as straight as possible like we did in round 1. If you do need to slow it down, slow the movement down. If it's too much for your core, encourage a slight bend in the knees to put the pressure into the quads rather than to the lower abs. Feel free to add a plank variation in here. You can add a heel raise, you can add a step up, as long as you're keeping that midsection tight at all times. Again, another progression movement for you here is to hold this movement from 45 seconds to 60 seconds and then go straight into round number 3. If 30 seconds is enough for you, feel free to drop the knees now. Stretch, lengthen, grab a drink, roll the shoulders out, take the breath and get ready for set number 3. 3 free crunches now. Now this is the set that's going to count for all of your core movements. Things in the temples like we did before. Big lift up, big crunch to the top, control the movement back down. Reset the shoulders, fire back up again. Feel free to slow down the reps, but just make sure every single movement is powerful. Think about that core engagement. Set 3 for leg raises. We're trying to keep these as strict as possible like we did before. I know that body's going to fatigue, I know the core's going to fatigue, so if you need to encourage a slight bend in the knee and loose the pulse at the top, you can do that. If you are working out at home and set 3 for sit-ups is getting a bit tough, you can place your feet underneath the sofa or weight the feet to stop the feet moving. Don't forget about that rotation. You're going to be working the obliques extra here. Big set for those leg flutters. Try and keep those legs at a 45-degree angle and keep on stomping. Slow the movement down, doing small switches if you need to. Do not drop the heels. Keep that tension in your midsection. Regression for these reverse crunches. If you need to, don't lift the hips up, just bring the knees up as far as you can and then push those heels out. You haven't got to fully extend those legs either. If you need a slight bend in the knee, you can do that to keep the tension in the core. Still aiming for a nice straight leg with these single leg toe touches. If this is getting too much for you as well, you can keep those legs bent and just raise up towards the knee rather than reaching up for the full extension of the toe. Single leg toe touches. Feel the arms extend behind the back of the head. Serratus muscle extend and lengthen, and use that muscle to pull the arms and the body up towards those toes. Full extension of those legs now. Really push out through the heels, up and over these leg scissors. We're almost at the finish. Full 30-second plank to finish now. On them toes, on them forearms, let's do it. Get that body in line. Feel free to challenge yourself here and hold that plank for as long as you physically can. Right, that core should now be feeling battered. Should be on fire, should be feeling very, very solid. Keep doing this 2 to 3 times a week, you won't go far wrong.